third. To multiply polynomials, you use the properties of exponents. So if you have 5x squared times 4x to the third, what do? What's the first step? How do you get an answer? Christian, what's step number 1? Yeah. You multiply, what are those numbers called? Multiply the coefficients. So every problem tonight on homework, you're going to multiply the coefficients first. And Christian said you do 5 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. Then what do? 5 times 4. Then put the variable. So x. And how do I know what I put with the variable? What do, Alyssa? You add the exponents. So Alyssa says add them. 2 plus 3 is, there's your answer. That's it. Well, this is a monomial times a monomial. We want polynomials. We want as big as we can. Now here's the hint. Here's your hint for tonight. Fill in the invisible ones. Tonight on your homework, anytime before you start a problem, I want you to go through and I want you to fill in all of the invisible ones. And you say, what does that mean, crazy? If I gave you this problem, x squared, where would you fill in an invisible 1? Andrew? As my coefficient, 1x squared. If I gave you negative 14xy squared, trick question, there is one, you put it in there, but where would it go? Kaylee? So you put in a coefficient of 1? You could, but the coefficient's already negative 14. We don't need another coefficient. We do need a 1 in there, though. Danya? As an exponent, x to the first power. What if I gave you this? 3x. 3x to the first power. What if I gave you negative 4y to the third? Is there a hidden number 1? No, this problem's done. So you need to fill in all of the hidden, fill in the invisible ones. And here's why. Let's start off quote unquote easy. Example number 1, 1/2 a to the third b times a squared c squared times 6b squared. All right, let's talk it through. Step number 1, multiply the coefficient. Oh no, just kidding. Fill in the invisible ones. Where does an invisible 1 go in this first monomial? Ian? B to the first power. Where would an invisible 1 go in the second monomial? As the coefficient. And do we need an invisible 1 for the third monomial? No. All right, now let's, step number 1, multiply the coefficients. 1/2 times 1 times 6. 3. Alphabetical order. A's. A to the third. A squared makes A to the fifth. B to the first. B squared. B to the third. C squared. C squared, there's your answer. You're done.
So is that, so do you have to put in, like, still exponents separated?
This way, when they're in the same term, you should put them in alphabetical order. Let's try another example. X squared y to the third times 5x squared y times 6x plus y squared. Step number 1, before you do step number 1, you have to fill in the hidden number 1. So if I look at the first monomial, x squared y to the third, where would you put a 1? A coefficient. 5x squared y, where are you going to put a 1 in here? Exponent for y. 6x, where's the hidden invisible 1? Exponent for x. And y squared, where's the coefficient? Step by step, let's do this problem. Let's start with the multiplication first. Let's do this problem first. Multiply the coefficients. 1 times 5 is 5. Now let's do our x's. X squared times x squared makes x to the fourth. Y to the third and y to the first, y to the fourth. Good. We multiplied first because it says multiply. What do you think I do with this part? I'm going to write it back down because I'm taking it step by step. And what do you do when there's a number outside parentheses? You distribute. You take this times the first term, a monomial, and a monomial times the second term. Let's do it again. 5 times 6 is 30. X to the fourth times x to the first, x to the fifth, and y to the fourth, right? Because there's no y to be combined with right here. There's a plus sign. Now I'm going to distribute the monomial to the second term. 5 times 1 is 5. X to the fourth times nothing. So I put x to the fourth. Y to the fourth times y squared is... Can these now get added together? Are they exactly the same? Do they have exactly the same exponent? No, so we're done. This is my answer. Let's do one more example. Let's do this one. 5s squared t to the third times 2s minus 3t squared. Fill in your ones. Does there need to be a 1 in here? Does there need a 1 right here with the s? Does this need a 1? No. Step number 1, multiply your coefficients. 5 times 2 is 10. S squared times s to the first, s to the third. T to the third times nothing, so what do I put? T to the third. There's a minus sign, right? Negative, negative 3. 5 times negative 3, negative 15. S squared times nothing, so s squared. And t to the third times t squared, t to the fifth. Are these different? Yes, so I cannot combine them, so we are done. That's your answer.